Do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a potential star pass rusher hidden away on their practice squad? Let's talk about it. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. So, folks, I know a lot of people are going to be saying, James, you're talking crazy. What in the world are you saying? But there is a player on the Buccaneers practice squad by the name of Muhammad Kamara, who I believe is a player that could be a potential star based on what I've seen in terms of what he did in college, as well as just going into the NFL in terms of just pure athleticism, and actually compares pretty well to a former star Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rusher in a lot of ways. We'll dive into that. But first, I want to talk about how in the world did Mo Kamara even get to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Well, firstly, he was a 5th round draft pick in 2024, number 158th overall by the Miami Dolphins. Now, in his first year of the NFL, he did not get a ton of playing time in Miami. He only registered one total tackle in his first year in the NFL. Then this past offseason, on August 26, 2025, he was waived by the Dolphins in their final roster cuts. And one day later, he would sign immediately to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers practice squad. Here's a quote from Todd Bowles when he was asked about the addition of Muhammad Kamara. Bowles said, Kamara gives us a young edge guy we liked a few years ago when he was coming out. It wasn't a few years ago. I understand, Todd. Time is an illusion. But it was the previous year whenever he was coming out. The Buccaneers had liked him. And this is the first interesting thing I want to talk about with Kamara is his overall time in college, because he went to school at Colorado State, where he put up some very, very solid numbers, was the 2023 MWC Defensive Player of the Year. That's the Mountain West Conference, by the way. He spent 5 years in college football, finished with 30 and a half sacks at the end of his college career, 13 sacks in his final year. And one thing you may notice about these stats is that he progressively got better the more that he played. He had 1.5 sacks in his sophomore year, then 7.5, then 8.5, then finished up with 13. By the way, the tackles for loss, crazy. 10 in 2021, 16 in 2022, 17 in 2023. And this is the first comparison I want to make here. We take a look at another former Tampa Bay Buccaneers edge rusher that went to Colorado State. Well, it is Shaq Barrett, and he finished his career at Colorado State with some interesting numbers. 12 sacks in his final year, 19 tackles for loss. Does that sound familiar? It should. It is nearly identical numbers to Muhammad Kamara. But the comparisons do not just stop there, folks. In fact, I do want to take a real quick look at the Colorado State Rams football records, because if you look, the career record for most sacks in a college career at Colorado State, well, number 1 is Clark Haggans at 33. But guess who's number 2? Oh, it just happens to be Muhammad Kamara, who had 30 and a half. That's more than Brady Smith, Mike Bell, Corey James, some very interesting names in Colorado State's history. But you know who else is on this list all the way down there tied at number 9? Well, it's Shaq Barrett. Then, for the most sacks in a single season at Colorado State, Muhammad Kamara, he's at number 3, only behind Joey Porter and Brady Smith. Guess who checks in tied at number 4? Shaq Barrett. Interesting to note there as well. So those comparisons are also notable, again, just in terms of the overall statistics of what we saw from Muhammad Kamara, from Shaq Barrett. They do compare very well. But folks, again, we are not done just there. Going from the NFL from college into the NFL, I should say. Muhammad Kamara, 6'1", 248 pounds. Shaq Barrett on his draft profile, 6'1", 260. You can't make this up, but you also see the freak athleticism with Muhammad Kamara, who was graded to be a good backup with the potential to develop into a starter, by the way. He had a 4.57 40-yard dash and 23 reps on the bench press. Are you kidding me? A 34.5-inch vertical jump, a 10-foot 3-inch broad jump, a 1.58 10-yard split. This dude is an absolute athlete. He ranked as one of the top defensive edge players in terms of athleticism score. In terms of production, he was in the top 5. His overall grade was in the top 10. He was actually graded, everybody, to be a 3rd-round draft pick by Lance Zierlein of the NFL. I'm choking. I can't even get my words out. I'm so hyped up about this guy. He was a 5th round pick. And not only was he a 5th round pick, that's the first part that gets him overlooked. But secondly, the Dolphins cut him after 1 year. Now, some people may take a look at that and say, well, come on, that means he must not be very good. But teams make mistakes. There are loads of players in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers history that were released or gone from their former teams. The Buccaneers scooped him up and they had success. A very good example is Shaq Barrett, who left the Denver Broncos, came to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and was an absolute all-star in his first year, broke a team record in his first year. Another good example, how about the quarterback of the team? A lot of people thought his career was done after the Cleveland Browns shipped him away. He spent time with the Carolina Panthers and the LA Rams. He joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what happened? He became a star. So who is to say that the same thing could not happen to Muhammad Kamara going forward with the Buccaneers? And remember, guys, this player is so young right now. As of the recording of this video, he is only 25 years old, just turned 25. In fact, he is a guy that is with loads of potential. And with the Buccaneers pass rushing room being what it is, with guys like Yaya Diaby who are still trying to figure it out, the future of Hassan Reddick being in doubt, Chris Braswell isn't necessarily putting everything together right now, and then also Anthony Nelson is just who he is, a fine veteran. A guy like Muhammad Kamara really throws an interesting ingredient into the mix. You've also got Marquise Watson there as well, but he's primarily a special teams player. I'm excited about this young man. This is a guy that I feel like whenever we look at all the comparisons, whenever we look at his college production, whenever we look at the fact that, hey, this team gave up on him way too early in the Miami Dolphins, in my opinion, because this guy, again, was projected to be a 3rd-round draft pick, became a 5th rounder, and still got cut for some reason, landed in the Buccaneers' lap. It just screams to me that this guy has the potential to be a star. Whenever you have the head coach saying, hey, we really like this guy coming out a couple of years ago, even Larry Foote, I saw, had some glowing reviews. The Buccaneers outside linebackers coach was excited to work with a guy like Muhammad Kamara as well. It feels like another draft pick, in my opinion. That is what I genuinely feel. David Walker was a pick out of Central Arkansas. Well, Muhammad Kamara is another developmental guy that you can bring in and see what he can do. I'm going to be very curious to see if the Bucs will either promote or elevate Kamara at some point to add a little bit of juice to that pass rushing room. He hasn't been with the Bucs for very long. Again, he's been here less than a month. August 27th is whenever he joined the team. He's only been here for about 3.5 weeks. So I feel like once he begins to learn the playbook, once he begins to get more acclimated to what the Buccaneers are doing, I'm very intrigued to see what this young man could potentially do, and if the Buccaneers do give him a legitimate chance here in the regular season, because I do think he would be able to go out there and do some very good work, because I think this young man has some star potential. What do you guys think about Muhammad Kamara? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it down in the comments section below. I almost forgot one more thing, by the way. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way, the proud sponsor of this channel. If you guys do use the code MrBucs, you will get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Guys, download the #1 sports app today and enjoy sports the way it was meant to be, that is together. And apologies, I completely forgot to mention, and I do want to end it on this, I forgot to mention the PFF grades for Mr. Muhammad Kamara when he was coming out of Colorado State. You want to know what's really darn impressive? An 85.9 overall grade in 2023, an elite level 91.2 pass rushing grade in that same year as well. You notice that from 2021 to 2023, he continually got better as a pass rusher. 80.2 in 21, 81.6 in 22, 91.2 in 23. Defensively, 69.2 in 21, 79 in 22, a big leap to 85.9 in 23. This is a guy who continually gets better and better as a pass rusher as the seasons are progressing. Even as a run defender, he improved from a 57.4 to a 69 to a 72.2. Tackling, leaves a little bit to be desired, to be completely honest with you. But hey, as an edge rusher, as a pass rushing specialist, let's say, you know, at the end of the day, I do believe he can improve on that tackling and become more of a well-rounded guy. But the pass rush numbers do not lie. right? The statistics at Colorado State do not lie. The defensive grades at Colorado State do not lie. Whenever you look at all of this information and compile everything that is there, it screams a guy that has potential. These are the types of grades that Shaq Barrett was getting before he joined the Buccaneers. And what happened? He went out there and he was a star. Have a lot of faith in Muhammad Kamara. Again, now we're going to go ahead and say, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about Muhammad Kamara down in the comments section below. Do you guys like him? Do you like what he's doing here at the NFL level? Do you want to see him get a chance given the lack of production, let's say, from the Buccaneers pass rushing room? Let me know. I'd love to hear it down in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.